Hello, my name is Sarah Corcoran, and I am a Cultural Funding Specialist with the Cultural Arts Division. Thank you to everyone who shared their questions and feedback regarding the program design summaries shared at the December 12th Zoom event, Building an Equitable Funding Review Process with the Cultural Arts, Music and Entertainment, and Heritage Tourism Divisions. In response to the questions, the three divisions have drafted a frequently asked questions or FAQ document that you can find on our website. In an effort to continue building on this dialogue with the community, the cultural funding team will be creating short question and feedback response videos, just like this one, so we can address some of the insights you've shared with us. The program recommendations our teams have been drafting are a direct reflection of the goals and community engagement work the Cultural Arts Division started in the summer of 2019. Your insights have been and will continue to be incredibly valuable as we move forward in this planning process. Today, we want to take a little time to highlight some of the most common program questions we have heard from the community since the December 12th event. We also want to use this opportunity to update you on what we will be working on next and how you can continue to share your feedback with us. These questions from the community have been summarized to fit the recording format. First question, is community initiatives being replaced with Nexus and Core being replaced with Elevate? That is correct. Nexus, Elevate, and Thrive will be the only cultural funding programs starting in fiscal year 22. Nexus and Elevate will retain many of the positive elements of community initiatives and Core, but will improve on the areas that have historically created inequities within our funding model. Cultural Heritage Festivals program applicants will be able to apply for funding within these three new programs. Thrive is a completely new program that contains the key elements of Elevate, but with investment. Next question. With these new programs, is the maximum award amount $100,000? $100,000 is the maximum award amount in Elevate. The only program with an award amount above $100,000 is Thrive. The maximum award amount in Nexus is going to be between $3,000 and $6,000, but please know that the final award amount for Nexus is still being discussed. In keeping with community feedback and our work in moving towards a more equity-centered funding model, award amounts within these ranges will be primarily determined by how well the applicant aligns with the funding purpose and priorities of each program. And how awards will be determined for these programs is ongoing. For example, for the new Elevate program, staff is currently researching best practices for reducing the harmful and inequitable barriers created when budget size is the prime factor in determining award size. Next question. Can I apply to more than one program? In the Cultural Arts Division cultural funding programs, applicants can only receive funding in one cultural funding program at any given time. However, the application process and timeline will be managed so that applicants can consider all of their available options. Eligible applications to the Thrive program that do not receive funding will be eligible for consideration under the Elevate program. The cultural funding team is working on developing systems to reduce a need for duplicate applications. Applicants that do not receive funding in the Elevate program can apply for the upcoming twice-yearly Nexus cycle if they would like to. We also want to remind you that you can also apply for funding from the Heritage Tourism and Music and Entertainment divisions, if eligible. Proposals must be for different scopes of work, and expenses can only be paid for once. Next question. Do you have to be a nonprofit in order to apply? Great question. Nonprofits and individual artists may apply directly for funding. Creative businesses such as art studios are also eligible. Fiscal sponsorship will not be a requirement for Nexus or Elevate applications. However, you can choose to work with a fiscal sponsor if you'd like to. For the Thrive program, we are currently focused on nonprofits for the first cohort. We are open to the possibility of other business structures in the future and will be reassessing as the planning progresses. Next question. Our organization works with artists of color and serves communities of color, but we are white-led. How does this impact my scoring or eligibility for different programs? Our team recognizes that racial makeup of an organization can vary at different points in the organization's growth and are currently working through how to best capture and recognize those nuances. However, we do not consider audience makeup as part of organizational makeup. Thrive is reserved for arts organizations that are led by and representative of communities of color. We are also working with MJR partners to investigate potential non-monetary resources and support materials that will help organizations deepen their own internal racial equity work and build greater diversity within their leadership. Next question. What sorts of expenses are eligible for funding? Will staff and operation expenses be eligible? Expenses that are incurred directly from implementing events and programs that are open to and marketed to tourists are eligible. In many cases, this will include a portion of administrative and operations expenses necessary for the production of public events. However, each program is different, and applicants should look at the list of eligible expenses and ineligible expenses in the guidelines for each corresponding program once they are released. Next question. Why is Thrive limited to 10 awards when other programs do not have a limit? There are two reasons why Thrive has a limited number of contracts. First, there's a higher award amount that deducts the amount available in Elevate. While we want to support Thrive awardees, we also want to ensure that there is sufficient funding in Elevate, especially in light of the current economic impact to the cultural community. Additionally, Thrive deliverables are tailored in a way that our other programs are not. It is a cohort-based program that requires significantly more staff time per contractor than Elevate contracts will require. These limits will be routinely evaluated by staff and may change in accordance with community need and hot funding projections. That's it for the questions section. Thank you again to everyone who submitted these questions. If you have more, or if you want to provide feedback to consider, options for how to do that will be posted on the screen. To read our future programming summaries, use the link shared in the slide and in the description of this video recording. A transcript of this recording can be found on our website. That transcript will include a Spanish translation. Staff regularly review community feedback shared through all of these channels to help us as the planning and guidelines drafting processes continue. We will also incorporate your questions into regularly recorded question and answer sessions, just like this one. We hope to have draft guidelines ready for internal vetting with department leadership by the end of January. We also encourage you to share information about our programs. The best way for new applicants to hear announcements via our Facebook page and our newsletter. You can also direct them to any member of the cultural funding team. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch.